Welcome back to Low Stress Math with Mrs. Bono. We are in Unit 5, Linear Equations, and we're on page 5, which is still Lesson 1, but we're going to review it. So, here we go. The directions say rewrite each equation in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Then graph. Okay, we can do this. First step. Actually, you know what? I'm going to write the steps down up here because I think it'll make it a little bit easier. So here's the 2 steps. Number 1. Add or subtract to get the y on one side and the x and the x and constant on the other. So, what did I just say? Add or subtract to get y on one side, one Bono side, and x on the other. So right now I have x and y on one side of the equal sign. I want y on one side and x on the other side. And then, if you have to, divide by the coefficient of y. Sometimes it helps to have the rules written down so you could see them while you're working. It helps me. So for the first one, I have to add or subtract to get the y on one side and the x on the other. And in this case, I'm looking at minus 5x. So to move from one side of the equal sign to the other side, you do the opposite operation. So the opposite of minus 5x is plus 5x. And I'm not going to put the 5x right underneath the 1 because I want to sort of have a visual reminder that I cannot combine those two things. 5x and 1 are not like terms, so you cannot squish them together. Don't do that. So now the y comes down by itself. 5x minus 5x is 0 equals, now I have 5x plus 1. And I know what you're looking at. You're saying, why isn't it 1 plus 5x? Well, in my head, I did the commutative property. I already switched them because it's addition, and I want it to be y equals mx plus b. So I want the m and the x plus the b. I want this before that. So now I have y equals mx plus b. And I'm actually just going to write that underneath here to remind me what's the slope and what's the y-intercept. M is the slope, and in this case, m is 5. So I'll write that down. M equals 5. But I can't really graph with that. So I'm going to change it to a fraction. 5 over 1. So I can rise 5 and run 1. And b equals 1. b equals 1. So I'm going to begin at 1. All right. Let me grab my highlighter for a second. And I'm going to highlight the y because the y-intercept, b equals 1, goes on this highlighted line. It's going to be the 1 on the highlighted line. So since I have my highlighter open and it's in my hand, I'm just going to highlight all of my y's just to get that out of the way. And you know I like visual reminders. The y with my yellow highlighter, yeah, you're crazy, Bono. So I can't see this graph very well, so I'm sure you can't either. Let me make that a little bigger. And now I'm going to begin with b equals 1. Y-intercept. Here's my y, and I'm going to intercept it at positive 1. That. Now I'm going to, from this positive 1, rise 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Run to the right 1. rise 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Kind of think it's going to be there, but wait a second, that's not even really on the grid. So what could I do to get more points? I could do the opposite. Instead of rise 5, I'm going to drop 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instead of run right, I'm going to run left. So I'm going to drop 5 and run left. That way I'm still on the same line, but I have a lot more points. And I like to have a lot of points when I'm graphing because it makes my line a little straighter. So what did I just do with my ruler? Here it is. So connect the points and make a line all the way across the grid. Put arrows on your graph. And now you have to write the correct equation. What's the correct equation? This equation, y minus 5x equals 1. Because that's the original equation that they gave me. That's what's going to go on the line. Y minus 5x equals 1. Make your equal sign look like an equal. So there we go. So let's try the next one. Now, I usually go to the right, but look, that says 4. I'm not doing that. I'm going to go to number 2. I'm going down. Okay, this is not too bad. It's 2y equals 5x minus 6. And I already have my y and everything else on opposite sides. So step 1 is done. Now I have to go to step 2. Divide by the coefficient of y. In this case, I'm dividing by 2. So 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is y. I'm leaving this as a fraction. Remember back here I had to make a fraction? Well, why not just keep the fraction? 5 over 2x minus 6 divided by 2 is 3. It's a little easier for me if I have a fraction there already. So y equals mx plus b. Oh, look at that. My m is 5 over 2. That means I'm going to rise 5 and run 2. But where to begin? Begin at the back at the b. And b is negative 3. I know it says minus 3, but that minus 3 makes this negative 3. So b equals negative 3. So I'm going to begin at negative 3. On the yellow line, start here in the middle and go down 1, 2, 3. Begin at negative 3. Then from there, rise 5, run 2. Rise 5, run 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Rise 5, run 2. I can't do it again. I could drop 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 2, 1, 2, to the left this time. Remember, I want it to stay on the line. I can't go to the right, it won't be a line anymore. So I wanted to go to the opposite direction. Okay, connect the dots. Come on, there we go. Draw a nice straight line. When you're drawing a line, you should sort of hold the ruler with your fingers spread apart and push into it with the pen or pencil. It's better to graph in pencil, but since I happen to only have a pen handy, I am graphing in pen. Here we go. 2y equals 5x minus 6. Always go back to the original equation when you're putting it on the line. All right, go down one more. Ah, here we go. This time, look, the y is here, the x is here. That's great, but I have this negative 4, this minus 4. So I want to add 4 to both sides. To move this over, I have to add 4. And remember, don't line things up because you don't want to accidentally squish everything together and combine unlike terms. Don't do that to yourself. Here we go. 2y, negative 4 and positive 4 is 0, equals 6x plus 4. Okay, that's good. Now, I'm going to divide by the coefficient of y. divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. 2 divided by 2, 1y. 6 divided by 2 is 3x. 4 divided by 2 plus 2. So now my m is 3, but I want it to be 3 over 1. I want to rise 3 and run 1. And where do I begin? Begin at the back at the b, 2. b equals 2. So over here, I'm going to begin at 1, 2. I'm intercepting the y at 2. Y-intercept. Now, I'm going to rise 3 and run 1. Rise 3, run to the right 1. Rise 3, run to the right 1. Or you can get more points by dropping 3, going to the left 1. Dropping 3, going to the left 1. You want to do the exact opposite. The opposite of rise is drop. The opposite of run right is run left. So connect all those little points above and below the grid, arrows on either side, and original equation, 2y minus 4 equals 6x. All right, next one. Look at that. My x and y are on the same side of the equal sign again. I don't want that. So I need to subtract and move the 5x to the opposite side. So bye-bye 5, minus 5x from both sides. And 5x minus 5x is 0. Bring down 4y equals, and I want it in y equals mx plus b form. So the minus 5x goes first. Minus 5x plus 8. This 8 is positive. That's why it's plus 8. Be careful. Make sure you get things in the right order with the right signs. All right, now I have to divide by the coefficient of y. So divide by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1y. Keep this as a fraction. Negative 5 over 4x plus 8 divided by 2. 8 divided by 4 is 2. All right, so that's my slope. Negative 5 over 4. This means I'm going to rise 5 and go left 4. When it's negative, you go left. I'm going to rise 5 but go left 4. That's what this negative sign means. It means go in the opposite direction. Okay, my b is 2, so I begin at the back with the b, 2. So I come up here, 1, 2, and I put my first dot. Begin at B2. Now, I'm going to rise 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's my next point. But I can't do another one like that. Now look, when it's something big like 5 and 4, you see how I put little tiny dots? That's so that helps me count. But I want to put another point. So if I follow this line, I know my other point's going to be over here somewhere. So if I drop 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go down 5, and I'm just double checking because I messed this up. And then to the right 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to make sure that my points stay in a line. This is linear functions. You want it to be in a line. Down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a nice big dot to the right. So now all 4 of the points I put on here are in a line. That's the key. And I lost my ruler. No, I didn't. Here it is. Thought I did. Oh, I'm losing my ruler in my old age. Here we go. And connect all those points Nice straight line through them because linear functions are straight lines. Arrow on the top, arrow on the bottom, and this equation on the line. 5x plus 4y equals 8. The next one. The next one looks harder than it is because everything is with the y, and the 0 is on the right. But it's not as bad as you think. You're going to subtract the 2x from both sides. Because this was plus 2x, you're going to minus 2x on both sides. This is minus 6, so you're going to add 6 to both sides. 2x minus 2x, 0. 6 minus 6, 0. That's how I get my y alone. My lonely little y here. This is 0 equals this. Negative 2x plus 6. Y equals mx plus b, so my m is negative 2. And you know that means that I want to make it negative 2 over 1, because I always want it to be a fraction for graphing. So I'm going to rise 2, but now it's negative again. That means I have to go left 1. When it's negative, you're left. When it's positive, you're right. Are you positive about that? Yes, I'm right. Ha, 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 ha. But this is left, so negative goes left. My y-intercept is b equals 6, so I begin on the y at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Begin at 6. Now, I'm going to rise 2, 1, 2, left 1. Rise 2, left 1. And I could use that and make a line, but I'd rather have more points. So now the opposite. Drop 2, right 1. Drop 2, right 1. Drop 2, right 1. Remember, you want to be making a line. So down 2, 1 to the right is the same as up 2, 1 to the left. And I get all these nice little dots. Connect the dots. See how they're in a nice straight line? Got to be careful. And arrows on both sides. Original equation. Y plus 2x minus 6 equals 0. And on to the next. Now there's a star next to this one. That generally means there's a trick involved. And the trick here is that there is a 1 in front of this y. Because that negative is there, it's negative 1y. And one of my students earlier had a really good idea. She said, when you rewrite it, 3x, write it as plus negative 1y equals 3. And that makes it easier to see that the 3x is positive, but the y is negative 1. Very clever person. So, first, I'm going to subtract to get the x on the opposite side. Minus 3x minus 3x. Oh no, look at how stupid I am. I just put those 3's like I was going to combine them. I'm not going to do that. Don't do that. Don't look at that. All right. So 3x minus 3x is 0. And now I have negative 1y equals negative 3x plus 3. Don't ever combine things that don't combine. Be careful. All right, now I have this negative 1. That means divide everything by negative 1 so that the y can be alone. Negative 1, negative 1, negative 1. And you get y equals 3x minus 3. Because negative divided by negative, positive y. Negative divided by negative, positive 3. Positive divided by negative, negative 3. Basically, dividing by negative 1 changes the sign of all your numbers. So if, you had everything was positive, divide by -1, now it's negative. So that's really, divide by -1 changes your signs. So now I have +3, and I want it to be a rise 3, run 1. Rise 3, run 1. And I'm going to begin at the back at the B, which is -3. So here I go, -1, -2, -3. I'm going to rise 3, run 1. Rise 3, run 1. Rise 3, run 1. Up 3, 1 to the right. And I have all of a sudden become lazy, and I'm not even going to do the dots on this side. Let's see. If I just connect the points that are here, all the way across the grid, arrows on both sides, original equation, 3x minus y equals 3, and it's perfect, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's done. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.